Hello everyone. Sai here. Thank you so much for joining me doing a Kendra challenge. This is number four, Kendra's Card challenge number four. There we go. There we go. And I will set a link in the description so you can see it. You have until December 31st, I believe, to join in and win some amazing prizes. So I'm going to just chit chat with you guys while I make some Halloween/fall cards. And there's 16 of them, and I'm just going to describe what I'm doing, and you know the drill. Let's just have some fun doing this. So this was meant to be done in October, but I did run out of time just being busy with this and that. And so some of these Halloween cards are now kind of late, but that's okay. I can always use them for next year or whatever. I should say the reason I decided to use um, this Halloween pattern paper is because I actually got this quite a few years ago, probably 2011, maybe 2010. And it's by My Mind's Eye, and it's called Blackbird. It is an absolutely beautiful Halloween pattern paper. I just love it, but I never used it. So when this challenge came, I decided that I would make some Halloween cards instead of Christmas because I am going to make a lot more Christmas cards. That's not with the challenge. So this is design number one. The way it works is you are given a template of six 6x6 pieces of paper, and you follow the instructions to cut them down into individual pieces, and then you fill them in with mats based on the card designs that are given. And it's supposed to create 17 cards. I'm only doing 16. I cheated, and you'll see at the end what I did. I did not feel like making two of the same style. And it was, you'll see. But I'm getting way ahead of myself. So here's the first Halloween card. I did take this Lawn Fawn pumpkins, and I masked them so I can put them together and then fussy cut them out. And I colored them with some Prismacolor pencils. Nothing too fancy. Just some basic yellow and oranges for the pumpkin, creating some shading and a little green stem. I'm trying to match the color of the pattern paper. I just love those little pumpkin, a little smiley pumpkin there on the right. I just love it. To finish it off, I decided to add a little bit of bats, if you want to say it like that. A little bit of bats. Just add two bats from the same collection, stamp set. For card number 2, I am now going to be focusing on the yellow. I have a hard time, and I've said this before, I have a hard time with solid colors that are not black and white or dark shades. I just find it really hard. It's just when I'm making it, my eyes just don't like it. It's usually not until after I walk away, after it's been created, that I'm like, okay, that wasn't too bad. And this card is one of those. Like, I absolutely like the color yellow, but I had a hard time making this card at first. I don't know why. I thought it was just looking awful, but goes to show that sometimes you just need to walk away after you create something, and you see the genius afterwards. Like, you look at other people's cards and you're like, man, they're amazing. You get that sometimes when you walk away from your own work, and then you realize that you are amazing. This card sketch is actually kind of fun, and I decided to use the polka dots on this one. Nice thing with pattern papers that are double-sided, you can choose which side works for you. And I think I cut this one wrong. I should have put the circles in a certain way so that they match, so they look like they're identical. Like, it's like a flow, but I think I reversed it by accident. Just noticed that right now. But that's okay. It still looks a lot of fun. I just love the big panels. I love those polka dots. And I love how there's this distressed type look on the circles. It's just, I just love it. Actually, you'll see later that I sneak another piece of this pattern paper that wasn't supposed to be in here. And I'll tell you when, just because I love it so much. So now I'm taking the stamp. This is another of my favorites stamp set for Halloween I got last year, and it just says "Hey Ghoul." There's not many stamps I have for Halloween, so it's going to be Happy Halloween and Hey Ghoul. I think those are the main ones. So because I said, hey, Ghoul, I threw one of the ghosts in. Very easy coloring. I just took 2 shades of gray alcohol markers and I did one stretch of dark and then I blended in with a light and then you leave the rest white. It's ghosts and anything white are usually the simplest things to color. I am then just going to add a couple bats just to fill in some of those spaces. You could add enamel dots. It's the same thing. I just like these bats. Card number 3. Now here is where it gets challenging when you have pattern papers that have a design in a certain way. Kendra's cards challenges definitely tell you where to make sure you cut, but they don't take in consideration that I don't pay attention. And so once I had the pieces, I realized that this one is not going to follow the design very well. And I don't really think about it. I could have done a landscape, but I decided to follow the portrait style. And it wasn't until later that my partner pointed out that I could have done it the other way. But in the end, I still like the card. I love that pattern paper with the trick-or-treaters on the street and all the houses. It's such a cute design. Really neat, and I love it. And it works really well with this brown. I was shocked. This is just a piece of random, I think it's recollections from Michael's solid brown cardstock. You get a package of 5 shades, and this is one of the brown ones. If you're looking for affordable mats and you don't care about the linen texture style, check out Michael's. They definitely have a wide range of solid colors for an affordable price. It definitely helped me when I was trying to just beef up my stash, just so that I have colored stock on hand. Nothing more frustrating when you're trying to work on a card and you're looking for coordinating colors, and then you have to run to the store just to get just that one color. Okay, so now I'm just following the sketch and just putting these pieces in. You don't need to have a full line because you will be covering it, and that's exactly what happens when you follow the guide to cutting all the pieces. Okay, and I'm just going to glue this guy down. And you can see that the pattern is facing the wrong way, but to me it doesn't matter. It really depends on how how it feels for you. Some people can't stand that, like my partner, and some people don't mind. I think it's just cute. I just love that pattern paper, so it doesn't matter which way it's facing. At least it's not upside down. That's a that's a bonus. Okay, and I'm just going to use that Hey Ghoul stamp again. And then I'll just glue that down to another die cut that I used the brown paper for. These are actually 2 different dies. One's Lawn Fawn and another one is just another random one. I'm not sure where it came from, but it just happened that it fit perfectly, so I used those together. And I'll just place that down right in the center. For all these, I'm following the sketches fairly closely. That's the whole point of following this challenge. Card number 4 is definitely using one of my favorite patterns in this collection. It's actually my second. You'll see my favorite. I'll mention my favorite. And but this one is my second. I just love these crows. And then the orange distressed background. It's just really nice paper. I looked up my Mind's Eye company, and they don't seem to make pattern paper like this anymore. At least not what I saw. It didn't have that fun, I don't know, there's something really cool about this. And if I can find a link, I will link it. You won't be able to buy it, but you'll see the whole collection and see what I'm talking about. It's just really beautiful pattern paper. I actually bought this pattern paper from HomeSense, which is kind of like a Marshall's, and I'm not sure they're in the States, but definitely in Canada there's HomeSense everywhere, and they used to sell scrapbooking supplies. And this is when I first started getting into it, and then took a huge long hiatus before getting into it again. But I bought this at HomeSense, and I absolutely love this pattern paper, and I snatched it up right away. And yeah, I just haven't seen anything like this recently from them. I'm now going to mask to create my sentiment there in the corner while I was talking. Ghostly greetings, and then I put my little ghost there. And once again, here you'll see what I'm doing with my alcohol markers. These are Spectrum Noir. I'm using number 2 there, and then I'll use number 1 just to blend it in. If I don't feel like it's enough, I can go back out and just keep thinning it out and moving it. That's what I do. And then usually when I'm done, if I feel like it's kind of hidden, I may take the darkest one more time and just go really close to the edge to create that sharp line and not blend that. Sometimes I like how that effect looks. I'm definitely using a lot of mattes. I like using mattes. If you follow Christy Marcotte, you'll see that she also uses a lot of mattes, and I am totally awestruck by her work. And anytime I do this type of thing, it's always her that I'm thinking of. And I always look up her for inspiration. There are a lot of other people who do amazing work as well. Unfortunately, I can't remember their names. Christy Marcotte just is the one that just sticks in my head, but there are a lot of other amazing artists. So check them out if you do. They will always give you inspiration. And the part I like the best is when I look at the sketch and I'm just stumped how to make it look good. If you ever feel like that, go online and just search 30 cards made by this or 6x6 challenge. Just search those and then watch how they're doing it. And for me, I always just watch and I'm not really paying attention. I'm just almost like a zombie. I kind of zone out and just watch because it's very satisfying watching people make cards sometimes. And so if you actually watch and actually see what they're doing, you can actually pick up some hints on how to make yours. And I do it all the time. So what you see here could have been just an inspiration from someone else. Not saying it's exact, but like if I am trying to figure out how to matte something or just make it polished just a little bit better than a card sketch shows, I definitely will look online. And that's why I like to contribute, because sometimes there's pattern papers that people haven't covered. I personally have done a couple for recollections. I think they're called Craft Smart or Smart Craft. And I've had a couple people write me saying that they had purchased it a previous year and they were thankful for just seeing some ideas. And that's all what it's all about, just helping people have some fun and create, sharing inspiration, all the good stuff. So this one is going to be, I believe, my first fall non-Halloween card. And I decided to choose non-Halloween designs. So it's the nice shade of green and then that squiggly, almost like burlap sack grid style. I love the organic raw lines. It's not perfectly straight. That to me is always awesome. I love breaking the symmetry, but that just looks really, I just love it. And then adding some Love from Lizzie peel-off stickers, which I am looking to see when they are going to be doing their next free shipping, and I'm going to grab some more. They're really nice for separating two colors, pattern papers, or two pattern papers that are even similar. Do you need to use peel-off stickers to make this type of design? No, and I sometimes go the other way and use the strips of paper that I've trimmed when making my mats, and they work just as nicely. Of course, the benefit is the peel-off stickers are sticky and you don't need to worry about any messy glue. But if you have Barely Arts glue or art glitter glue and you have that micro pin, like what I'm doing right now, it's very fine tips, it makes it a lot easier. So definitely I am all for reusing as many pieces of scrap paper as you can. But if you just want to have something a little bit special, because usually they can be glittered or shiny, holographic and such, peel-off stickers definitely are an awesome investment. So I'm going to use my Hello Fall stamp, and I did heat set that with some clear embossing powder. Just so you know, I am now officially in my new home and my new craft room. I'm trying to figure out how to do the recording and the lighting and everything. It's a fun, annoying challenge because every day and every time of the day it's different. So I am trying to figure that out. You'll see my shadows here and you'll see it there, and I'm just playing around. But I am back in with all my stuff, and that's why you're now seeing me use my heat embossing tool, which is something I used all the time. I just like doing it. So to finish off this card, sorry about that, just remembered. To finish off the card, I did stamp and fussy cut some of these leaves and the pumpkin, and I colored the pumpkin in with a one single shade of Prismacolor pencils, and I think it was like pumpkin color and some type of green. When I'm using my Prismacolors, I really try, because I have all the colors, 100 or something. I try to follow the pattern paper as best that I can. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but you know, you never know until you try. Okay, so that just didn't go on straight, so I took it off, and of course I need to reapply the glue. I am using Barely Arts glue. It's new to me. I've had it for a little bit now. I used to use Art Glitter glue, but I decided to try this one out because I noticed everyone else was switching, and I needed to get on that bandwagon. I did ask about why people are switching, and the main response was that it's very similar to Art Glitter glue. However, it can handle the cold. So I do plan on selling cards, the ones that I like the most, and so I do want to make sure that they don't get damaged in the cold. So that alone has got me switching over to Barely Art glue. However, if you use any other glues, if it works for you, that's awesome. That's all that matters. It is glue after all. The only thing I would say about glue from my experience is that some of the cheaper glues do have a little bit more water in them, and because I am using 65-pound cardstock, and this happens usually with the white, cream, and anything that's a lighter color, wetter glue will really show and warp my paper. So that's why I'm a little more finicky with my liquid glue. If you use tape runners or ATGs, then that won't be a problem. You solve it right there. I just don't have much luck with them. I got one from Simon Says Card Kit earlier this year, and oh my goodness, it was fun to play with, but it was also a little frustrating. Sometimes it just wouldn't come off the tape. So here's another way of doing this. Instead of using peel-off stickers or strips of paper to create a separation between all the little slips, you just create one large mat and then you glue them. And you start on the sides, and then you can go in the middle, and you work your way and then perfectly align them all. And that's what I did there, and it kind of gives you the same illusion that it is separated with strips of paper. I then had this stamp that I got from Scrapping for Less a couple years ago, and it was a Hey There Pumpkin. It's the only other Halloween fall decoration I have, a stamp set I have, and then I just colored that in with some alcohol markers, and then added some fun enamel dots to finish the card off. For this card, sorry I missed what the number was because I was talking, I went bold. I went traditional Halloween colors, orange and black, and I mean bright orange and bright black. These were the colors when I was a kid. They were really the colors, and so I decided to use them with this for this card. Of course, that orange is a little bit bolder than the rest of the paper, so I am going to hide most of it, but I just wanted it to peek out, and then I'm using the stamp in an ink that matches that color as closely as possible, and I believe it was Pink Fresh ink, Persimmon, I think that's the one. But I love Halloween, I really do, and I'm always going to go towards my childhood memories, and it's always going to be the traditional, just like Christmas. Traditional will always be a home to me. I do love the modern style take on Christmas colors. They're awesome, beautiful, just like Halloween. Um, but I'm always going to gravitate towards the love for the traditional black and orange. I don't have a stamp or a die cut that will cut this oval out, so I am just going to fussy cut it. But you know what? It actually works for Halloween because you can go all wonky, and especially because my pumpkins are all wonky, it actually, you won't notice it too much. Unless you really look. don't really look. So there is a sheet of pattern paper that has all these little characters on it. I didn't use it for my cards, but I decided that I would fussy cut them out and then glue them on as embellishments. There are about 6 or 7 of them in the design, but I only needed 3 of them. And I just think they're so cute. The little witch there, really adorable. And I love the Frankenstein monster with the crow on top of its head. It's just so cute. And then you tie it with those little silly pumpkins. Those pumpkins, like I said, I love this pattern paper. It's so awesome. I just put a little bit of foam tape on the side of it, but I cut it in half because I don't want it to be too thick. I just want to lift it up just so it's level. And then I'll just glue that down. So cute. I love this. To finish it off, I do have some enamel dots. I'm going to use a large one and 2 small ones just in the center there to fill in that gap because the stamp is a little bit higher than anticipated. All my enamel dots are from my card kits that I got when I was using Scrapping for Less, which has now shut down. Okay, card number 8, continuing with the traditional orange and black. Bright orange, yes. And I decided to use the chevron diamond. I haven't used that yet. I was using the other side prior, which is the orange grungy look. I'm just going to mat all these pieces down to my orange and just create a little bit of a mat. When it comes to mats, it really depends on. I don't think I really think about it until I'm. Oh no, I don't use the. Oh, look at that! It tricked me. I didn't actually use it. I am using the grungy orange part. Okay, my bad. But for good reason, obviously, I didn't use it. I don't know. And I don't remember what I was talking about, but oh yeah, the mat. I usually not thinking about what size the mat it is until I start actually planning the layout. So I'll usually cut it to about maybe a quarter size larger than the piece, and then I'll trim it down if I decide to have it smaller. In this design, I actually got a black piece that I heat embossed in white, and it fit perfectly in that little spot. And the reason I wanted to put it in there is because I want everything to be flush, and I didn't want to heat emboss on the back layer. So that's the only reason I did that. You don't need to, but everything just fit like a perfect puzzle, so why not? Okay, card 9 is it? I'm now dulling down the orange. I'm using a nice, I would say this is more of a real orange color. A real pumpkin color, sorry. And I really like this orange too, and I just don't have much of it, so I was not using it. I was using it sparingly. So now if you look at the mats on this one, these mats are a little bit smaller. So this probably was 1/8 of an inch larger than the pattern paper. And so then you get that 16-inch border, which in this card I thought looked a lot better. Because there's so many pieces, I felt that I didn't want too much of that yellow to show. And this one actually turned out well. Mentioning the yellow earlier in the video, I was saying how it's really hard, but I don't have that much problem when it's just a mat like this. It's usually when it's a full-blown mat like the orange that I'm using. But the yellow looked really sharp, I thought, because Well, sorry, the reason I used the yellow was because of this one I'm gluing down right now. It has that yellowish tone to the pumpkin background, and so I just wanted to tie that in and use up some of the yellow scraps that I had. For the sentiment, I found this weird shape die, and I decided to just stamp in Hey There Pumpkin with the Persimmons ink from Pink Fresh, I believe. And then I'm just going to add this little heart enamel dot that I found in my stash. No idea where this came from. Probably scrapping for less as well, but I can't remember. I'm just going to center that as best as I can. I just thought that was cute. I like the little heart enamel dots. And there we go, that finished that card. Okay, so card number 10 is featuring my absolute favorite pattern paper ends with the little spiders, and it's not just because of the spiders, it's that color, and then of course the shape of the spiders, like so the combination. This pattern paper I wanted to use, but for some weird reason, I cannot understand what I was thinking. I cut the center of a 12 by 12 piece of paper so I couldn't cut any 6 by 6s out of it. I don't know what I was thinking. Why would I pick the center? Because the pattern paper is the same through. I don't get it. I wish I could talk to my past and ask me, because that was such a waste of the most beautiful paper in this collection. But I was able to snip a piece of it. That's it, that piece there. Snip it so I can fit it at the top of this design instead of using a plain mat. If you're following this collection, I mean, you can do whatever you want. You don't there's no rules. It's all for fun. But sometimes using pattern paper instead of a solid matte color is fun too. The bottom piece that I'm gluing here, that is part of the 6 by 6 cuts. So I just tied the two together, and I just really love this combination, the black and green. What a beautiful Halloween color. Just beautiful. And so I stamped Happy Halloween, and I heat embossed that, I believe, off camera. I can't tell. In some clear embossing powder. If I didn't, then I'm sorry for lying. I don't know. And then we're just going to glue that down right in the center, covering the little hole where I used that Love from Lizzie's peel-off stickers. That is black peel-off stickers, and just separating that design from the mat. I just thought that was really cute. I love that green, grungy piece in the bottom there. To finish it off, I'm just going to add a few of these black enamel dots. I'm just going to put them all on the bottom there. I think that's the best place. What a simple, cute Halloween card. For card number 11, it does get a little glitchy at the beginning. Not sure what happened, but I'm playing around with some scrap paper that I have left over from all the matting that I've been doing. What I'm doing here is I'm just putting a tiny bit of glue just so that I can glue these other pieces down, because I want to align them up in a certain way. I'm not worried about that because I will be covering this side of the card base anyways. So once these are all glued down, I will rip it off the card base, and then I'm going to fix this all up and trim it down to the size that I want, so it's all perfectly aligned. And the idea is to create a candy corn background. I thought it looked really cute. It wasn't what I initially wanted to do, but I saw the paper lying on my desk in that fashion, and it just turned out to lead me in that direction. And I'm going to take some peel-offs. These are the white pinstripes from Lizzie. And I'm just going to add them on the divisions between the different colors, just to create a nice little border separation between them. It actually adds a really neat effect. You don't need to do this, but it definitely gives a polished look when you have a white finish. It's those little details to a card that always make it look a little more polished. I know it's very hard to get that balance of adding too much, But sometimes when it's these little things um, that most people wouldn't even notice when they first look, it's those things that really help a card. And it's not because you want them to see it right away. And that's the trick, I believe, is that you kind of want it to look pleasant. And it's the more you look at it, the more you realize why. It's your brain processes things way faster than you can understand, and that's my reasoning. That's what I think, but I could be wrong. This design, I believe, had a banner behind it, so I decided to use these banners that were part of the pattern paper. This is just one of them, so I just took it out and I matted it to black, and I trimmed it out to follow the design of the banner. And here we go. Now I'm using the chevron diamond back pattern paper. There we go. I remember using it once. I thought it was the other card, but here it is. This card actually looks a lot of fun. You have the candy corn background, and then you have these bright orange designs. I don't know, something fun about that. You don't have to always, let's just put it this way, just go and have fun and be crazy and do weird things. That's all I can say. I'm going to probably say it in every video. Just do it. Just have fun. If it doesn't work out, whatevs. You know, there's so much more to worry about in life. Well, I hope you're not worrying in life, but I mean, definitely don't worry about what happens with your cards. And so I'm just going to glue that down. I did use the sentiment, hey there pumpkin, in black, and I'm not sure if I heat set that. Again, I wasn't paying attention. And I'm just going to follow the sketch and add not one, but 2 stars to this. Just going to glue them in the center there. I don't need to worry about gluing the whole thing, because when you do this, sometimes it just creates a little texture to the paper, because it can start lifting and stuff, and just kind of looks fun. There you go. Cute. So cute. For card number 12, I did stamp another ghost, and I did some more masking, and I used a tombstone and a ghost. I'm not overly happy with my my inking or my coloring of the tombstone, but that's okay. I'm not an avid alcohol marker colorer. I would like to be, but I don't have enough to even get started. I'm more into watercolors and using my pencil crayons, just because I have them and I have enough of them to play with different colors. For this card, I am featuring the diamond pattern paper and those crows again, or ravens. They could be either or. And then I'm just going to add some Love from Lizzie black straight peel-off stickers again. Just to create that nice little separation between the designs. Yes, this one's going to be a very simple card, mainly focusing on the sentiment and then very little pattern paper that's going to be showing. Okay, so while I'm doing that, I'll just ask if everyone had a wonderful Halloween, or just whatever you did that day. It doesn't have to mean you celebrate for Halloween, but I hope you all had a wonderful one. I had a good one, except that I had a severe migraine the whole day, so I missed out on most of the festivities, like carving the pumpkins and such. But I did go out and just look at the neighborhood and see how it was decorated. I was shocked about how many kids there were in this neighborhood. I thought there would be more. It seemed very quiet. And we got 16 children come to our house. I was expecting a lot more. So these children that did come ended up with a lot of candy, because I didn't want to keep it myself. But yeah, I'm going to have to keep an eye on that and see if it was just because it was a Sunday and so kids weren't out. I'm not sure. But 16 seemed like a little too little. But yeah, overall Halloween was amazing this year. And once again, I do hope that you all at least celebrate something. Even if it was just grabbing a book and just sitting and watching a movie, or sorry, not reading and watching a movie, but reading or watching a movie, or whatever. And that's that card. For card number 13, I'm using this yellow again. I'm getting a little more comfortable using this, but then I kind of am not a big fan of this one. I think it's just too many colors, but I'm glad that I gave it a chance and just tried to do things. Just following the pattern, the sketch, sorry, quite closely, and then I will bring in a stamped image that I colored off camera, and I try to follow the colors that are in the pattern papers. I think that's kind of where it threw it off, but you'll see it. You'll see it. It's coming in. I like to make a grand reveal after the after the card's made. Then you can see, ooh, here it comes, you know, that type of thing. This is not going to be a Halloween or a fall card. This is, I wanted to use some of these other stamp sets that I have, and it's a Simon Says stamp set that I got last year, probably October or November. I can't remember. It was a fall one, and it's a, well, you'll see. I don't want to spoil the surprise. But at this point, I really like this. I think it looks really sharp. Those black outlines, really, really sharp on these colors. I think it looks really nice. I think it's when we start adding the other pieces that it starts going a little downhill for me. But that being said, I really do like the card. It's just, of the 16 that I created, this is not one of my favorites. But that's okay. We can't all have favorites. Or they can't all be favorites. Okay, so the design did say to just trim these into little banners. And I'm in a little trouble with that one. I decided not to use the crows or ravens for this one. And I'm going to use that grid on the background. Okay. Just getting a little drink, if you heard that. My mouth is getting so dry from talking. It's only 37 minutes. Oh my goodness, this is a long one. Thank you for sticking out the whole thing if you did. You're a real trooper. I do appreciate it, though. If I can create some entertainment for you, then that's great. So here's the stamp set. I colored the bear, and the sentiment is coffee soon. The bear didn't have any glasses, but I thought I would add some just because I wanted to. And I'm just going to glue that down. It is a thicker cardstock. It's like a Nina 100-pound cardstock, whatever it is. So I only needed a little bit of backing on the backs to lift it up. I wasn't too worried about it because it is pretty thick. So I fussy cut out the bear, the coffee cup, and the little speech bubble. And I'm just going to glue those in place, and that is the sentiment. Oh, cute little bear. And that finishes that card. Okay, card number 14. We're almost near the end. I do hope that if you're enjoying this, that you also take part in the challenge. There are some good prizes. I think this one was sponsored by a company, or if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to say the name just in case I'm wrong. But yeah, so some good prizes. There's 3 prizes to be won, and so definitely I'll put the link at the bottom in my description. But definitely check it out if you have some time. You have until December, and you just need to. You don't need to create a video. You just need to hashtag it somewhere. Instagram, your blog. No, I guess blog won't work. Facebook or YouTube are probably the main sources that they'll check out, and then they will create a video and show everyone's work, and then pick a winner or winners. But like I said, you have until December 31st. This is a quarterly challenge, so this is the 4th one this year. So for this design, I decided to only mat 2 pieces. Not the one in the back. I felt like that was getting too many mats, and I just wanted to I think what it was I didn't know which color to do it, the one with the polka dots. So I decided to just not matte it, and it actually turned out pretty well. I like how that just blends in with the cream matte layer background. My sentiment is the Happy Halloween one again in the Persimmon Pink Fresh ink, and I'm just going to put that up near the top because I'm going to bring in something else that I found in my stash while I was making these cards. And I just love what it says on the back. I'm going to bring it in soon. I did a double glance and it says caution, may become addictive. I just thought that was the funniest thing. I couldn't believe I didn't see that before, but it just caught my attention. Anyways, I got these years and years, probably the same time that I bought this pattern paper. And they're just these scratch things. You just put them on and you use a tool to scratch them off the backing onto the paper. And I decided to use these ones because there was a little bit of blue in the pattern paper with the houses. And so I thought it would just be fun to play with. And so I just used kind of like a banner on the bottom of that. And I thought that was kind of fun. It's nice to use up things that you have in your stash. It's nice to get to make room for new stuff, because really that's what you're doing. At least that's what I'm doing. And I'm just going to add a piece of matting to the back there so it lifts up and doesn't sag down. Yeah, it's kind of fun. This time I actually got my pattern paper the right way. That's the way it should be, not sideways. Yeah. But sadly, I am covering the children in the design. There's only one child left. To finish off, I'm going to use some more of these orange enamel dots. And I'll just put them, usually 3, in random locations. Actually, at this point, it's not really random. I kind of do the same pattern every time. There we go. Okay, card number 15. I am using this green color. I'm not going to focus too much on it. I just want to have a slight green border around it. This actually, now that I look at it, is quite the choice of green. I'm not sure what I was thinking when I chose it, but nonetheless, I did use it. I think I probably wanted to bring some green in to tie in with the green polka dots that I'm going to be showing, but I don't have any of that actual green, and this definitely doesn't match, but I must have thought it was close enough when I was making it. Of course, when you're looking at a computer, colors do change a bit, but I'm fairly certain, yeah, let me look at this green. I'm fairly certain that green does not match. I have the card beside me. I'm just going to pull it out. It doesn't look bad looking at it, but it definitely doesn't match any of the pattern paper that I picked. So that's kind of funny that I did it, but nonetheless, we will move on. For this design, I also decided not to matte any of the layers. I kind of liked how it looked on that other card, so I decided to do it again for these ones. And not matte any of them. And just as I'm layering them, they look good together. I am going to cover that one little corner with this sentiment, and I'm going to prop it up with some foam adhesive. And the sentiment does say, "Hey, ghoul." Instead of using a ghost this time, I will bring out my bat stamp, and I have 3 bats to play with. They're very similar, but just different sizes. And so I'm going to fill in that corner with a bunch of bats, and that will be that for this card. I really love these bats. They're just very simple, but they're fun. They're fun to fill in because you just imagine like when the bats explode out of a cave, and there's so many of them. That's what I kind of picture when I'm using these stamps. They're just really, really cute. Not even spooky. That's the nice thing. Sometimes it's nice to have cute Halloween stuff. There we go. And that's that for this interesting choice of color card. Okay, so card number 16. I got lazy. I did not want to make my 17th cards because it was very similar, and because that pattern paper, once again, is not really in the right direction. So I merged 16 and 17 together to make this card. And I'm just going to mat the whole card, so that's the A2 size, with cream, and then just trim off the excess. And then I'm going to use the brown layer to glue all my pieces on and then center that onto my base. So as you can see, the design, if you're following the sketch, it was supposed to go along the edge where the triangle is facing the center. And as you can tell by this design, it wouldn't make any sense. It'd be actually a lot worse than the card with the banner that I had created at the very beginning. So that's why I decided to make my card this way, use both 16 and 17, and just fill in the corners so it looks like one street, and then there's just that separation in between. I did think about adding something in the center there, but I decided that I would just keep it nice and simple and only add some brown Love from Lizzie peel-off stickers. Main reason was because it's not often you get to use brown peel-off stickers. A lot of times when I'm using them, it's black or white, and if it's Christmas, it's going to be glitter, things like that. Brown is not often, and that's because most of the time at least when I get my card kits and stuff, which is what I mostly focus on, they are more of the feminine side. So when you start getting browns and stuff, that's more of the masculine cards, and you don't get many of them. Not saying that there are not beautiful feminine brown colors or designs. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's just usually it's the more masculine, and that's not what card kits usually give me for designs. So that is my long explanation why I decided to use brown peel-off stickers. Sometimes I just ramble, and yeah. Okay, for this one, I just wanted to use something very simple. It's not a Halloween, not a fall, not a coming coffee card. It's just hi there. And I found a white strip, very small, and I'm just going to put that on my card. It's so silly. Look at that. Look how silly that is. That's ridiculous. But I love it. I love it. It's just so simple and funny. And then I add a piece of cream just to make it so that it ties in with the background. And it's not just a white strip, I think. It just ties in pretty nicely. How silly. So that's it. That is all my cards. I am not going to do one by one because I just want to get this out there. So I will end it with a thank you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching. I really hope this has created some inspiration for you. And really, really think about joining this challenge. It is a lot of fun. I know there's a lot of challenges out there, but this one actually gives out good prizes. So there's a nice motivation for you. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I had a lot of fun, and I hope you did too. And until the next time, have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.